Alright, in this video, we are continue to talk about the solving inequalities. So as you can see, inequality has a special symbol greater than or greater equal to, right? Now this in math, we just care about. That means my final outcome as my y value is positive. Yes, if you see the equal side, that means it can equal to 0 as the outcome, okay? Same thing, less than or equal to, that just tells me my final outcome, the y value should be a negative number. Yes, if you use your ego, if they mention about it can also equal to 0, then perfect. That means I have a perfect solution, right? Now, inequality with the steps, that's my way. I like to keep my 0 on the right side. Just easy for me to see, is that positive or negative, okay? Factoring step 2, it will be my favorite way to get the critical x value. So aka that kind of like I'm going to solve it, okay? Now, the way I do it without calculator, it is I always like to look at my number line to locate my critical numbers. And then I get to find some number to check for the positive or negative, because the greater than is positive, less than is negative, okay? Now, recall the fancy math in calculus, right? We got to write it in the interval fancy way, because the interval is my x value, right? The domain from where to where, it's a parenthesis or a bracket, okay? Now, the parenthesis will be a not included, but when you see an equal sign, please show me with the bracket. So let's go to number 5. In class, we talk about that. Factoring, the way I do it is the first and the last. So the way for me to do it, it is what two number times give me x squared? It had to be x times x. Now, what two number times together give me negative 15? So I know that it can be negative 3, positive 5. Now, because the negative 2 is the outcome, that's the middle term, I know that only when I have a negative 5 and positive 3, they add up together will give me negative 2. So therefore, my factoring is correct. So once again, when we do the factoring, your middle point had to make sure, yes, 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, check. The middle term, 3 times x is 3x, and x times negative 5 is negative 5x. When you add those together, checkpoint, that had to equal to my middle point, aka now I know my factoring is correct. So what we say, when there is a picture, the answer is in the picture. So I'm going to use the number line to get the picture. Now recall, the power is 2, so I shall have a 2 outcome, right? So the x value, as you can see here, is negative 3, and the other one is x equal to 5. This is what we call about the critical x value. It will make the equation equal to 0 perfectly. Now, the way I do that, it is I need to show it on a number line. On a number line, left is my negative number and right side is my positive number. So recall, negative 3 and 5, it is the perfect solution when the equation equal to 0, okay? Since we are dealing with the inequality, so I'm going to check positive, negative, okay? So I am going to check some number. How about on the left side? I'm going to check negative 4, okay? In between negative 3 and 5, I can pick some number to check. You can say, oh, can I pick 4? Can I pick 2? Can I pick 1? You can pick any number as long as in between negative 3 to 5, okay? Now, for me, I'm kind of easy going, so I'm going to pick 0 to check it. All right, how about pick some number bigger than 5? Okay, we said about that in classroom. You can pick 5.123, 5.579, okay? If you are good with the decimal, go with that. So for me, I simply pick a whole number. So do not overthink. You pick the negative 4, you're going to check it out from your original equation, okay? So when I check negative 4, okay, so negative 4, that will be what I'm going to look at here. Negative 4 plus 3, that become negative 1. times -4 minus 5, that will be -9. And -1 times -9, that gives me a positive 9. So this is a sign tells me my final outcome as I pick it, I will have a positive outcome, okay? Good. So what happened if I choose 0? So 0 plus 3 is 3, 0 minus 5 is -5, and 3 times -5 is -15. What is it tells me? I will have a negative answer right here. What if I choose 6 to plug it in? So 6 plus 3 is 9. But 6 minus 5, it's 1. So 9 times 1, it is a positive 9. So that just tells me my final answer is positive. Now, this is the purpose of step 4. Check for positive and negative to confirm my location. So therefore, it will be our last step. The equation tells us I want to figure out it's greater than or equal to 0. Now, do not overthink. In math, in class, we mentioned about greater than or equal to. All we care about is greater than. I'm looking for positive outcome. I'm looking for positive outcome, okay? Now, yes, and also equal to, which tells me if I want to give you the positive outcome, seeing is believing. Where do you see on my number line? You see that this will be my positive outcome, right? And where else you see it? Right here, it's also a positive outcome. So that tells us my final answer, seeing is believing on the number line. With the fancy interval word, you know that will be from -infinity to -3. Remember, -3 was my critical number, okay? Now activate your eagle eye. In classroom, we'll say that, why? I had to have a bracket. Because you do know that at the critical location, you are allowed to equal to. So that will be a bracket. Because you see another part, so let's continue. My critical value is from phi equal to phi to positive infinity. And this will be our perfect answer. Good? All right. Continue. I want to continue to talk about the number 7. As you can see here, what you see is what you got. So factoring will be my way out. Now, there are many ways to do the factoring, right? So I keep with the first and the last. So 2 numbers times together give me 4x squared. So I pick 2x times 2x. Good. What 2 numbers times together give me 1? It will be 1 times 1. Hey, do I have the middle term? It is 4x. Yes, because when I do those middle terms, they add up exactly equal to 4x. So I know my factoring is perfect. So once time in classroom, we mentioned about eagle eye. Miss, oh, you say the power is true. I should have 2 answers. Indeed, you see 2 parentheses, right? But why they're exactly the same? Okay, a review, because we're allowed to have the repeated 0. So therefore, 2x plus 1, they are exactly repeat twice, right? So now I can simplify this in this way. Okay, so critical value. What would that tells me? 0. So that tells me just 2x plus 1 equal to 0. I can get the answer, aka both sides -1. I got 2x equal to -1, and both sides divided by 2. I got x equal to 1 over 2. And this is my critical value. Now, moving on. I'm going to draw a number line. I know that -1 over 2 is my critical value. Very important. So now I'm going to check some number. So what number I'm going to check on the left side? Can I pick -10? Yes. Can I pick -1000? Yes. But like us, no need a calculator, so I would just pick a -1. Check it out. Can I pick 0 on the right side? Can I pick 2? So just pick some number bigger than -1/2. So I'm going to pick 1. So here we go. Here we go, go. When I choose this number to check it, I'm going to go back to my equation, right? So what you see in class when we mentioned about activate our awesome eagle eye. This, it's a power even number, square. What do we know about a number square? That will become a outcome, always be positive. So if you don't see it, we can check it. If I put in -1, 2 times -1 plus 1, the entire thing, I'm going to square that, right? So -2 plus 1, you can say that means, oh, it's a -1. But -1 times -1, my final answer still be 1. So that square just guarantee no matter what, my final answer, it's always positive. Okay, same thing. When I choose 1 or when I choose a number 10, plug in this function because the square 2 will guarantee my final answer, it's always positive. Good? So now, as you see, the inequality they care about is greater than, aka it will be a positive. So where do you see my solution is positive? You see that, oh, from here to here entirely it's positive. So what you see is what you got. So now you can say that the answer will be from negative infinity to positive infinity. Ooh la la. Done. Good. Okay, let's do a little bit comparison. So on the left side, you know that it's greater than or equal to, right? That it tells me I look for positive. Now, what happens if I want to look for a negative? Okay, repeat the same thing. Step 1, we got to go through is the factoring to get the critical x value. So first and last, 3x squared had to be 3x times x, right? All right, what two number times together give me -4? So I'm saying that 4 times 1. And how do I guarantee the middle term will be positive 11? So I know that one of the 1 and 4 had to be positive. So I'm going to pick positive 4 and -1. Check it, check it, check it. -1 times x is -1x, and 3x times 4 is positive 12x. When I add those together, ooh la la, I do have a positive 11x matching my middle term. So this tells me my factoring is perfect. Okay, once we set this out, we mentioned about the critical x value. So what you see is what you got. You know that there will be two outcomes. One is 3x minus 1 equal to 0, aka when we solve that, I know x is equal to 1 over 3. The other one, as we've been doing that so many times, the x will equal to -4. Now, once we get the critical value, I like to draw a number line to help me. So recall, -4, it's on the left side. I am positive 1 over 3, it's on the right side. So now I gotta check it, check it, check it. So pick some number less than -4. Now, why don't I pick -4? Because -4 already served the purpose as a critical value. It's right there. Now I'm going to pick something else to verify my outcome. Okay, so -4, can I pick -1000? But I'm just pick a close number, -5. Somewhere in between -4 and 1 over 3. So I can just pick 0. You may say that. How do you know? Because that is on the number line, it's right in between them, okay? If you say that, can I pick -2? Can I pick -1? Of course, you are the boss, okay? So how about some number bigger than 1/3? So the same thing, I just pick a number 1 bigger than 1/3. So recall, when I check it, I'm going to go back to my original function to check it. So we call that no calculator. So -5 times 3 is -15. -1 is still a negative. So I know that it will be a negative number times -5 plus 4 is -1. So that will be a negative. Negative times negative. The final outcome is positive. So that tells me right here when I check that, it will be a positive outcome. Okay, when I plug in 0, so 3 times 0 is 0, 0 minus 1 is negative, and 0 plus 4 is 4, so that will be a positive. Negative times positive, the outcome is negative. So right here, I know the outcome is negative. How about 1? So 3 times 1 is 1, 3 minus 1 is 2 is positive number, and times a 1 plus 4 is a positive, right? So positive times positive, the outcome is positive. So far so good? All right, activate your eagle eye. We talk about this inequality care about is the less than, aka in math. Less than, in the fancy way, we just want to care about where do you see negative, less than 0, okay? So seeing is believing, you know that it's only from here to here, I see the negative. So, this is just tells me what you see, it's what you got. I see the outcome for my inequality, the interval, my domain, the x value, guarantee I will have a negative outcome that is from -4 to +1/3. Now, activate your ego eye. Why this moment, number 5 and number 6, one has a parenthesis, one has a bracket. Activate your ego eye. You do not see an equal sign right here. So therefore, that will be a parenthesis. It's not included in -4 and 1/3. And that's what we mentioned about math has a language. We got to follow the rule, okay? All right, number 8, awesome one. In class, before we leave, we mentioned about activate your ego eye, factoring. What do you see they have in common? X, so I can do a factoring out. So once I take out x out, I have x to the power 2 minus 2x minus 24 less than or equal to 0. Good. Now factoring, I still can continue factoring. So the x just by itself, it's okay. But I can do the factoring for this part right here. So first and last, x times x is x squared. What two number times together give me -24? You can say that, so that will be 6 and 4, and I need to have a -24, so one had to be negative, one had to be positive. And yes, indeed, -6 plus 4, exactly -2. So I know my factoring is perfect. All right, we mentioned about the highest power is 3, so I shall have 3 outcome as my x solution, right? Which is true. So this first one, remember, this x, when we factor this out, give us a perfect answer. X equal to 0 is one answer, okay? And this part tells us I also have a number, x equal to 6 is also perfect. And I also have a number, it's x equal to -4. It's also made the equation work. Now, number line. From left to right, negative to positive. So again, -4 should come first, and then 0, and then 6. Okay, location, location, location. I'm going to check some numbers. So -4, I know it's right there. So I'm going to pick -5 to check it. In between -4 to 0, okay, can I pick -1? In between 0 and 6, can I pick 1? Yes. Bigger than 6, can I pick 7? Yes. So we're going to do the same thing for check it. So when you plug in the number you pick and check it, remember, we got to go all the way back to my original equation. So here we go. No calculator. -5, it's a negative, times -5 minus 6, also a negative. And -5 plus 4, also negative. So let's check this out. Negative times negative is positive. Positive times negative, it's negative as the outcome. So I know that right here, when I check it, it will be a negative outcome. Check. All right, when I plug in -1 back to my original equation, I got -1, right? Times -1 minus 6 still be negative, and -1 plus 4, that will be a positive. So negative become positive, and positive times positive, the final answer, it is what? Positive. So I got positive right here. All right, when I check 1, so 1 is positive, times 1 minus 6 is negative, and 1 plus 4 is positive. Oh, 1 plus 4 is 5, positive. So positive and negative is negative. Negative times positive, that will be a what? Negative times positive, that will be a negative. So right here, it's a negative. All right, when I plug in 7 to check it, so 7 is a positive, and times 7 minus 6 is also positive, and 7 plus 4 is a positive. So my final outcome, it is positive. So we are happy to look at my number line to conclude the information. Again, you do see it's less than or equal to. What does it tell us? Less than, that tells me we care about is the negative. And the equal just tells me I need to see a bracket. So far so good. All right, what you see is what you got. Negative right here, negative right here. So my final fancy answer, as we see from the number line, I see two parts. One is from negative infinity to negative 4. Again, it's an equal sign, so I had to write this bracket. Together with another part, it is from 0 to 6. Perfect. And this is what we mentioned about fun, and no need a calculator. Awesome. And that's it, okay? So make sure the fun thing about math, it is the awesomeness of activate our understanding about the definition and apply the knowledge. We got this.